Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 178. It's Friday, July 13th. Friday the 13th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, so I know if you're listening to the audio well past the live show, you have no idea what we're talking about, but we've had some technical difficulties. So if you are listening live, you're in the chat. We apologize. We're only like 52 minutes late or something like that, I think.
That's not that.
Technical difficulties. Anyway, welcome to the show. So lots of stuff to talk about. We didn't have a show last week. It was 4th of July here in the US. So we were in and out, had some days off, that sort of thing. So we decided not to do a show, but we're back. Trivia is back as well. So trivia at the end of the show, we'll do 5 questions. We'll give away 5 prizes to 5 winners. I'm sorry, a prize to 5 different winners. That's 5 prizes. Google Play credit up for grabs this week to everyone who wins. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show. In terms of topics, though, well, Android P Beta 3 or DP4, Developer Preview 4, actually came out last week. So that was actually one big topic. We just want to touch on that really quickly. But now we've got the Note 9 quickly approaching. We've got new S Pen news. We've got Samsung tablet news and Samsung Watch news and LG Watch news and a new watch that I've been testing that I haven't reviewed yet, but I will, I promise. Amazon Prime Day is coming up. There's all sorts of stuff. So let's just dive in. Let's talk about Android P for a second here. So Android P Developer Preview 4 dropped last week, like Monday, or I think last Monday, right? July 2nd, I think it was. And so we got that, which is beta 3. So if you own a Pixel, Pixel XL, Pixel 2, Pixel 2 XL, you should have it by now if you want it. We asked everyone, because everyone asked us, is this stable enough to use? Have you been using it at all? I know you've been using a OnePlus 6, but have you used a Pixel 2 XL with this running at all?
For like 5 minutes, so I can't really tell you much about it. I've been on that OP6 grind.
You are loving that OP6. All right, so I would say I was finishing up Moto Z3 Play review and then switched to it. I've been using it mostly. I even used it on the Essential phone for quite a while, and both of those, I didn't run into any issues. I want to say there's probably always going to be like a Bluetooth issue because Google always has Bluetooth issues, but for the most part, stable enough. So in case you were wondering, should you use Android P Beta 3 Developer Preview 4? Sure. It seems pretty fine. What you should know is there's one more beta, one more Developer Preview 5, and that should come, I mean, that could be like first week of August, I would imagine, because typically in August, we also get stable. So the stable version of Android P should be in August. So we should get one more preview, probably one more beta, and then stable. So this is a release candidate. It probably is pretty good. There isn't really much new in it. We kind of looked through some stuff and there's like all these little small changes, but in terms of like big new features, we're well past that. Those changes come in the first usually 2 builds, not necessarily these stable release candidates. Google's not gonna be playing around with stuff. So I was just looking at the list, like they changed the back button. They changed like the icons, right? Some icons have changed. You can now manually switch to the dark theme though. So the dark pull down. So you don't have to do that based on wallpaper anymore. That's kind of a decent change. Still Android 9, not even Android 9.0. We don't know what P stands for still. They did add a call volume slider that's separate from the ring volume slider. So we now have 4 volumes to control. That's kind of it, I think. That's pretty much it.
Yawn.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. But at this point, again, we're just not going to get much new. So anyways, Android P Developer Preview 4 Beta 3 is out. If you want to sign up, just go to, what is it like? Is it android.com/beta?
You got it.
Android.com/beta, and you can sign up and you can test away. And again, most people weighed in on the site and said that they believe it's fairly stable. So, all right, let's talk about Note 9 for a second. Note 9 is going to be announced on August 9th. Tim will be there to show you guys whatever it is that comes out on that glorious day in New York City. You're gonna melt, by the way. It's gonna be like 95 and humidity of 200.
I'm already melting in Portland, Oregon, man.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
already melting. So there isn't a ton of new information out, but one thing that's kind of cool and unique to this Note 9 is the S Pen will have Bluetooth. So previous S Pens, there was no Bluetooth. Like you pulled them out and the phone knew like that the pen was out, but you couldn't really like track it. I don't believe, like it wasn't like attached in that sense. And it just, it was touch sensitive, and there was like some sort of sensor in the tip, I believe, that let you show like the hovering thing. I know every time you say the tip, this S Pen though, it's stopped by the FCC because it actually has Bluetooth connectivity. So, known leaker at this point, Ice Universe, who leaks all the Samsung stuff apparently at this point, said that, so like 2 days before this hit the FCC, said that they think the S Pen will do things like probably control music, I think. Where is that? We wrote this damn thing up. I can't find it now. Anyway, like control like music, maybe start and stop timers, things like that. And you'd be able to control that with the pen from away from your phone. So kind of cool, since no Note has had those functionalities before. And it actually kind of makes sense. You have a pen that it could be kind of like a remote. And I'm sure they'll show off some really cool like PowerPoint business presentation skills where you can like skip slides from far back, which I have no use for, but I'm sure some people do. Anyway, so what we're getting at is like maybe you could launch an assistant or Bixby in this case with it, like from afar, rather than yelling like, "Hey Bixby," you could like press and hold the button on your pen as your phone's sitting over there and launch Bixby. I don't know, just some ideas out there. So anyway, that's kind of cool. At least it's something unique that the Note 9 has. And then we also got a new image that shows like a purplish bluish version with the yellow urine pen sitting on top of it. So it's not looking like we're going to get a urine color of the phone, but we just may have the contrasting urine pen stuffed inside of it, which is fine, I guess. I know I kind of wanted the urine phone.
Blue and yellow is a great contrast. I'm really liking that colorway.
I actually like it too. And if it is that sort of purpley dark blue, it's not even really dark, it's kind of a purpley blue, it could be kind of cool. Like some of the colors I feel like that Samsung's released in the last 2 years I wasn't a huge fan of. Like I'm kind of over the purplish color that they're putting on everything. I'm kind of done with that. And I don't really like the coral blue either that's on the S9. So I hope it's this color. It's a little richer something.
Yeah. Shout out to David Stevens. He wants a Google Play Edition Note 9, donated $1.99. Thank you so much, David.
That was easy.
That's right. Super Chat's still alive. Thank you, David. Also, before we get going, as we were having our technical difficulties, Bertzer in the chat dropped $10 and said, put this towards an IT pro. Appreciate that,
we were
Bertzer.
laughing.
Appreciate the $10. Yes, we were laughing as we were trying to fix all of the broken audio that we had before we went live. So anyway, thanks Bertzer, thanks David for the donations. So Note 9, there's not like a ton of new stuff, but I just thought that was cool. We should at least point it out. August 9th is, it's, a month away-ish, something like that, a little bit less than a month. So we're going to know probably everything before we get there. Yeah. Tim will get there and he'll let you know. In terms of other Samsung stuff, though, we expect them to probably announce the Galaxy Tab S4, their next high-ish end tablet. I mean, like the Tab S line is their high-end tablets, even though this thing's probably going to run a Snapdragon 835, which I know is a year old. They'll do that because it'll keep the price somewhat down. It doesn't necessarily need the highest end flagship specs of the world. At least that's not typically what these tablets have done, I don't think. So we've seen that pass through the FCC and all that stuff. We've got some pictures of it. It looks like your classic Samsung tablet, except I don't think it has capacitive buttons and a physical home button anymore. So they've reduced that down. So it'll have on-screen buttons, but look, it's a Samsung tablet. It'll have a stylus and like a flip cover that has probably a keyboard or something.
You're absolutely right.
Yes. As far as our watch goes, though, so this is kind of a weird one, right? So Samsung, we think, is making a new watch. We're pretty damn sure they're making a new watch. We think it's going to be called the Galaxy Watch, except we're not sure if it's running Wear OS or not, right? So there's mixed reports on this. So some people think Samsung's going to release the Galaxy Watch and it'll run Wear OS. And then we've had other reports that say, well, no, it's going to run Tizen. We had somebody tip us off in our inbox yesterday that said they think this thing is actually running Tizen. What did they say? Tizen 4.0. That's just a single person saying that in our inbox, so you can take that as far as you want. So I don't know. Is this run Wear OS? Does it run Tizen? Part of me doesn't really think it'll run Wear OS, but I know some people have suggested it. I think Ice Universe, right? Did that person say it does run Wear OS? Because like Ev Leaks at one point said people are wearing Wear OS watches at Samsung, and then like I'm pretty sure a week or so later he was like, no, those are just prototypes. Don't just ignore that kind of thing. So I don't know. If it runs Wear OS, that sounds great. I'm not a big fan of Tizen, but I'm also not a fan of Wear OS. So I don't know that I care either way. What I would like about the Wear OS integration of it is that you just have more apps to choose from that work with it, whereas Tizen just is kind of locked into this handful of apps that Samsung has convinced people to develop for their platform. So I do hope it switches to Wear OS. I don't know yet if I believe that it will. Like, what does your gut say? Do you think it's going to be Wear OS? Or you just think it's going to be another Tizen watch?
My gut says Samsung sticks with Tizen. I mean,
too.
Yeah, there's just no reason for them to come back to Wear OS. I don't think unless they were thinking that maybe they can get more interest in their watch if it was running Wear OS. But Wear OS hasn't changed. I mean, it's just a new name, right? You could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig.
Yeah. I don't know the benefit to them doing that. I wonder if, well, I still, either way, if you attach Galaxy to the name, like I was thinking maybe people are worried that, or Samsung is worried that people see Galaxy and they just assume it only works with Samsung phones, sort of like the Apple Watch only works with iPhones. But if you call it the Galaxy Watch, that's not changing that. Like everyone's still just going to go, well, it's a Galaxy, so maybe it only works with Galaxy phones, right? And they're not going to name it something other than that because that's what they call all of their stuff is Galaxy whatever. It also does kind of end the Gear line, which I think is kind of weird. Remember, like we started with the Galaxy Gear and then they dropped Galaxy and it just became Gear. And now we're going drop Gear back to Galaxy. I have no idea what the hell they're going to do. But my gut says it's just going to be another Tizen watch and everyone's going to be disappointed.
People seem to still love the Gear S3, the Frontier and all that. I mean, that seems to be like one of the hottest selling watches. I think like 50 of them sold compared to millions of Apple Watches. So
50 making them the second largest seller because there's only 20 Android Wear or Wear OS watches
exactly.
sold. Yeah.
And I'm just joking, of course. Don't take anything personally, people. But point being, I don't know if there's anything that can really get me back into the whole wearable game, right? I guess I'm just not into fitness like I say used to be, if I ever really was. But Wear OS, they just sort of, and even Tizen, right? They're focusing more on the health and fitness, and that's not really what I ever wanted. I wanted like a timepiece that could just show me some notifications and look cool, and I could change the watch faces, and that's exactly what the original Moto 360 was. The original Huawei watch was. It's what Android Wear used to be. Now it's this gym healthy motivator assistant thing, and I'm just not big on. That's not my life.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want a watch that looks nice, you kind of just buy a normal watch. And then if you want one that does fitness tracking stuff, then you think about a smartwatch. I mean, I think there's probably normal people that don't look at it that way. They probably use it, but I kind of get what you're saying. Like most like these, like they look okay, right? And their battery sucks. So, well, not this one. We'll talk about this one later. But so yeah, but like the fitness focus is kind of the big part, like counting steps and all of that stuff. And I know there's some hybrid watches you can get. I guess we'll see when the new Wear OS chip drops from Qualcomm and they change the form factor where they're supposed to be more mechanical looking faces or something like that with longer battery. Then maybe that'll change. Maybe you will find the perfect watch at that point. I think we need to see how Wear OS changes in order for that to actually be a thing, because Wear OS is kind of garbage. Like Tizen OS isn't that bad of an OS. The problem there, which we've talked about before, is there's just no apps on Tizen. So
yeah, a hybrid, like you were saying, a hybrid would be great for me if I want sort of that mechanical look or feel, but just with some smarts built in. That would be great.
On a related note, LG still, there's another rumor this week or report this week that says 2 LG watches are coming. And we've kind of known that. We've seen 2 stop off the FCC, the W315 and the W319. And these are actually supposed to be some of those first running that new Qualcomm chip, and they may have that sort of timepiece look to it. We don't have any pictures of them yet, so we don't really know, but at least another report this week jumped out and said, yeah, they're coming. Did they say at IFA? Is that what they said?
Yeah, that was the thought.
So IFA or IFA is a Berlin tech conference. Happens every year in August. It used to be where the Note was unveiled, but then Samsung kind of separated that and started doing their own Note event, which they're basically doing again. But so towards the end of August is usually when IFA is, and we may see a whole bunch of new watches at that point, which kind of makes sense because I think Qualcomm told us in the fall we would see some of the first ones. And so if you get towards the end of August, that back to school time, that is probably about right. So Wear OS will see the rebirth, another rebirth when it comes to the end of August, probably.
Great.
That's one of those things I'm actually a little interested in seeing right there is how Wear OS could change with the new chipset. And it'll probably disappoint me, but I'm going to try to keep my hopes up a little bit.
Doesn't hurt to be optimistic every once in a while.
Yeah, that's
Although
true.
every time you're optimistic, things die terribly, like HTC and all of that stuff.
I don't seriously think about that. Like, you actually want me to like not be positive about things, and if I'm not positive about things, then things usually work out.
Yeah.
That means like the BlackBerry Key 2 is going to be like the greatest phone ever because I've just been trashing on it left and right. So it's
and
gonna
people
go
don't
down.
seem to have a problem calling you out about you trashing the BlackBerry Key 2. So.
Yeah, well, they all read like BlackBerry forums and stuff like that. I know they don't really count. Love discrediting that. Speaking of watches, so this guy right here, this is the take it off. This is the Mobvoi. They're not French, they're Chinese. Mobvoi. I don't know. TicWatch Pro. This is their newest watch. So this company, I'm just going to call them Mobvoi. I don't know how else you would say that. They've made a handful of watches at this point. They made an initial, I think, TicWatch 1 and 2, which were not Wear OS. And then they made the TicWatch E and S, which were Android Wear watches. You can buy them on Amazon for like, I want to say it's like $180 or something. Maybe it's cheaper than that. It's like 120, 150. They're plastic watches. They run Wear OS though, but they're like really nice. They're some of the better Android Wear watches or Wear OS watches you can buy. They come in fun colors, and one of them has I think they both have GPS. One's just more sporty or whatnot. Anyway, so I think they're probably some of the top selling Wear OS watches that you probably never heard of. This is their new guy though. It's TicWatch Pro. So it's got metal and plastic case. You can see this is the silver and black one. So obviously metal top and bottom, and then side is like black, has buttons. Has heart rate sensor. It charges via a little dock. I have one sitting here. It doesn't come with this white band. I just put this white band on it. Comes with like a leather rubber combo band, which I thought sucked. So I put this thing on here. So the big deal is you can see, well, you can see it now. So it's got 2 displays. So there's that look at it. It's like an FSTN display, which is, it's like a clear display that sits on top of the OLED display underneath it. So what it tries to do is when you're not using it, the OLED display turns off. I should double check to make sure it's FSTN or FTSN. I think I always want to say FTSN, but I think it's FSTN. FSTN, yeah. So it turns off and goes into this mode, which is like, I don't want to call it like an e-paper mode, but it's like this digital black and white mode. And it's just a see-through display that kind of fogs up, I think, when the other display turns off. So it preserves battery. So they're saying you can get anywhere from 5 to 30 days of battery life with it in this mode. I will say, well, I haven't had it for 30 days, so I don't know. It's for sure like at least 2-day battery life, possibly longer. And I have it doing like hybrid mode where like it's this and then it turns into normal display. So it actually is a pretty nice watch. It's a little on the bigger side, but for the most part, very nice. And it's like $250, I think. So it's not super cheap, not super expensive either. The problem is it runs the Snapdragon 2100, not the new Qualcomm chipset. So it's like these guys had a good idea with this double display thing, except the timing is kind of bad because we have a new chipset coming that's going to possibly change how Wear OS works. Otherwise, like, it has NFC in it, so you can do Google Pay with it. It's water resistant. I think IP68. The batteries are decent size. It's got buttons. It's got good performance. The display looks nice. All of that stuff. The problem is, yeah, we have a new wave of devices coming with a new processor that may change how this all works. So the other thing is, like, this screen, which it's hard to show you on camera. You can't change it. So it basically just looks like a cheap calculator digital clock that reminds me of throwback times that I don't miss at all. And you can't customize that yet. You may be able to at some point, but so that's kind of cheesy. So anyways, TicWatch Pro. I will review this thing shortly, hopefully next week. But it is one of the newest Wear OS watches we've seen, and it's certainly I would say probably the best one you could buy today. If you were still trying to buy one today, but I wouldn't really tell anyone to, because again, we have new watches coming in like 3 weeks or something. So I don't know. I mean, you've seen this thing. I know you and I haven't even talked about this. I don't even know if you knew I had it. I don't know if we've even talked about it at all, which is kind of weird. It just shows you how little Wear OS means to you and I, because everything's just been so bad for so long. Yeah,
we haven't talked about, well, you and me personally haven't discussed wearables, I feel like, in a while, just because I think we both know how we kind of feel about them. But I'm glad you got one, because obviously I kept getting the emails from them. I was like, oh, I should probably like reach out and try and get one, but I've been so busy I didn't. So I'm glad you got one.
Yeah, good stuff.
Anyways. It looks cool. I can't see it right now, but I'm sure it looks cool from the photos I've seen.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad watch. It's a little big, but whatever.
And $250? That's a steal.
I guess.
Exclusive to Amazon, though.
Exclusive to Amazon. You do have to buy it from Amazon, yeah. I would imagine on Prime Day, they'll probably drop it like $20 or something. That's my guess.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. I think what Amazon's doing is that it's like a Amazon launch thing for Prime Day. They think it's like, you know, some big thing, and so I don't know if we're going to see a deal on it. Because I've been trying to stay, you know, in the know on that. Yeah. So I think it's just going to be like a Prime Day launch, and
that's annoying. Yeah. Well, you can already buy it, can't you? Like, that's annoying.
Yes, you can, but you know, the average person doesn't know that, so the Amazon's going to say, "Oh, this thing launched on Prime Day."
That's really silly. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. All right. Anyway, moving out of watches and back on Tim using the OnePlus 6. This week you were like, "I'm still using the OnePlus 6. I want to share some thoughts on the OnePlus 6. I've been using it for a really long. I mean, you've used the phone way the hell longer than I have. What do you think about the OnePlus 6, and why are you still using it?"
Well, I'm still using it because it's a damn good device. You know, of course, I was using the Pixel 2 XL as my daily driver, like any good Google fanboy would do. But you know, the OnePlus 6 entered my life, and you know, I haven't been turned off completely. You know, I do mention in the post that it does not have the greatest camera, say when compared to the Pixel 2 XL. It's kind of lacking in that department, but other than that, the performance is great, and the software, the minimal tweaks that OnePlus does, where you can kind of customize the look of things, and you know, it's just a very snappy. Of course, this one has 8 gigs of RAM, I believe, the model we have. So the performance has been great. So like, if my just going through the device and playing with applications, if all that's good, and it feels pretty much like kind of like a stock Android would. Like, I mean, it feels kind of like a cousin to the Pixel experience you get from Google, right? It's not vanilla Android anymore. It's all this enhanced stuff. So other than that, you know, it's pretty good. I talked about how I dropped in some water. I'm not going to say what kind of water or anything like that, but I dropped it in water, and I was terrified, because when they announced the phone, they said it's like kind of water resistant, kind of like, they didn't give us an IP rating or anything like that, ingress protection rating. They didn't give us anything like that. So I was like, I dropped in water, it was totally submerged, and I said, well, shit, I'm out $500. I gotta buy a new one. Pulled it out of the water, started drying it off. I was taking a second not to look at the screen, because I didn't want to see like just this black thing not turn on. And I turned it over, it was totally fine. I was like, all right. And just made sure to dry it out, and the speakers work still, the 3.5 jack works still, everything works. So can confirm you can drop it into some water. Just make sure to pull it out real quick. But
please do not try that with your own, though.
Yeah.
It is not rated for that at all.
No, it's not. But so I was just happy that they built in some kind of water resistance, right? We know that it can survive splashes, at least from what they say. It can survive a splash. So, thank goodness, man. I am just relieved. Other than that, I've actually been really digging the phone. You know, the hardware's very nice. I know you mentioned you had problems with the fingerprint reader. I've actually run into that a couple of times as well, where sometimes you'll put your finger there and you feel like the phone just doesn't recognize that a finger has been placed there. So you tap it a few times, and I guess I've just gotten sort of used to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still love the notification slider. I still would hope that other companies would kind of incorporate that, what iPhone has done for the longest time, just having a little slider there. Of course, OnePlus in their great wisdom said, oh, well, because of the slider, we don't need to build in a do not disturb scheduler. Thankfully, a recent update gave us the do not disturb scheduler. So my life has been groovy, man. I've been scheduling do not disturb, sliding it when I go into a movie.
It has a headphone jack.
Oh, dude, it's got a headphone jack. It's got a notch.
The only thing is, well, you've been using a case on it because, like, the back of that phone, because that's the glossy black one, and it drives me nuts. But you have a case on it.
I do. I've been rocking that carbon fiber, and carbon fiber is smooth and slides in and out of my pocket very nicely.
And the camera's fine. Because, like, it was fine for me. Obviously, it's not the best, but it's fine. Like, it's still good. It's just not better than, like, Google's or Samsung's.
Exactly. Camera is totally usable, which I do believe. I actually have one shot. Maybe you'll be able to see it. I'm going to put it up to the screen here. It's a gorgeous sunset, although the sunset's on the opposite side of 180 degrees. But, I mean, you could the colors, the clouds. Look at the amazing, the crisp, the detail. Either way, I love that photo. The camera works fine as long as you're in, you know, decent lighting. It does not do well in dark settings. Even so, on some phones, let's say I can control the shutter speed. I give it a 10-second exposure. Say if I'm trying to shoot the sky, the night sky, get some stars. Even on a 10-second shutter speed, this thing does not bring in any light. It seems like there's just something funky going on. So. Much more stuff to play with. I mean, you know, this phone, it's like packed full of just stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those phones where, like, the red one just dropped this week, so you can buy the new red one, which looks really pretty for $579. And I was tempted because, like, I just finished the Moto Z3 Play review, right? So I'm just back on whatever, and so I'm back on the Pixel 2 XL. And I was playing with the Essential phone too because I got the new Android P, and I was like, I feel like I need something else. And so I was tempted to buy that because I wanted it, but at the same time, I don't really need it. But I was tempted because the phone is really good. It's one of those phones, like, even if it's not $900 and supposed to be the highest end of highest end, it's still a phone I would consider, like, on the short list still. It's a good phone. Definitely.
Even with that bad fingerprint reader, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
But I'm glad that you confirmed that you had the same issue that I did.
Yeah, don't know if it's just our unit or if it's other people's, but it is kind of a problem. Yeah. And I talked about software, and that was another kind of aspect that I wanted to get into just real quick. There is an Android P beta available. The first build that they released, we still don't have a second build. The first build is incredibly janky. Yeah. Do not flash that build. Your phone will explode on the charger. As soon as I flashed it, you know, the battery drains like crazy. There's no type of optimization going on in the build. Yeah. And so your phone's draining. You plug it into one of these dash chargers. And all of a sudden the thing's heating up. Like, it was pretty intense. So I reverted. Really scary. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's fine, right? But the dash charger is supposed to contain the heat in the adapter or whatever. But the phone was getting hot. So
I'm surprised they haven't released a second build. Like, obviously Essential's way ahead of everyone. They've got a second build. I thought somebody else dropped a second build. Maybe it's just Essential. And there was, like, some weird sneaky beta 2 for OnePlus kind of floating around some weird overseas forum. I don't know that anyone should have trusted that, but it never did, like, go officially to their forums or anything. Exactly. I was going to say there was like a weird build floating around from overseas, but I wouldn't flash that. I wouldn't recommend anyone else flash that. No, definitely not. Definitely not. In other OnePlus news, PC Meg was over in, I believe, in China, and sat down with OnePlus and talked about the phone and all this stuff. But they got to look at some of the other colorways they were considering post or creating, because they released this red one, right? And they said, like, look, we looked at all these different colors and this red is the one we chose. It just stood out. But PC Meg got to look at some of the other colors, and there's some pretty cool ones that I wish. And you know what it reminds me of? So there's like this table, this picture. If you go to the site and just look up OnePlus 6 colors, there's this table that has all the different like prototype backs they looked at. And it reminds me of the Moto X. Like, remember when the first Moto X came out, or the first two, and you could customize them and they would like lay out. There was we had pictures where like all these different Moto X's were laid out in all the different configurations and colors. It just brings me back. It brings a little tear to the eye. Miss that little guy. But there's some cool ones. I mean, there's some like multicolored ones. There's some that had sort of a texture look on the back, which could be, remember when Ev Leaks first posted that picture that looked like there was a wood back version coming? Yeah. I think it was probably just one of these like prototype backs they were probably messing with. But yeah, there's some like gradient color ones, sort of like the Huawei P20 Pro. There's just some really cool stuff. And it's like, yeah, I wish we could get all these different colors, but that just doesn't make financial sense for OnePlus to push out this many different ones. I mean, like, you can still buy the red one. It hasn't sold out. I don't know if that's a bad sign for them or not, but in the past when they've done limited colors, they almost sell out immediately. And I'm pretty sure you can still buy the red one right now, and the white one, which was also supposed to be limited. Neither of those have sold out, so it probably doesn't make sense for them to make 15 different. But they are telling us that they're selling millions of these things, right?
Yeah,
that's the hottest selling one ever.
Yeah, at least.
Well, it's good that you're still using it. It is like it is one of the few phones. We're at that weird time right now where, again, I was kind of looking at buying one because I was like, all right, I've had the Pixel 2 XL for a long time. I'm not reviewing a phone. Like, what phone should I use? And then you start going, all right, well, because I'm not reviewing a phone, I would be buying a phone. And like, that's the only one I think I would buy today. Like, if I didn't have a phone, I think the OnePlus 6 is probably the only phone today I would really consider buying, because it's still new enough. Obviously, it's still brand new. But like, the Pixel 2 XL is a little old. The Essential phone I wouldn't tell anyone to buy because they're not making phones anymore, apparently. I'm not a fan of the Galaxy S9. Like, I have a Galaxy S9 in the drawer over there. I haven't pulled it out since we reviewed it, I don't think. Poor little S9.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many phones I would recommend right at this moment, just because this is kind of a weird time. With regard to what's on the horizon. So
yeah, I mean, Moto Z3, we think the big guys coming. Note 9, obviously, and then Pixels, and there's probably a V40 coming in there. So there's a whole bunch of phones coming that, yeah, it's probably not a great time to buy a phone unless you really, really need one, or the OnePlus 6 is the phone you've been dreaming of, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if you're on the fence with the OnePlus 6, I think the OnePlus 6 is a good buy.
Yeah.
Unless you want to wait to see what the Pixel 3 is. That's what I would probably do.
Or you want that OnePlus 6T?
Oh, God. Yeah. Here in a couple of months, OnePlus 6T.
Couple of months. Yeah.
It's going to be dope. It's going to have way more RAM and a better processor.
Yeah. Ocean Pacific in the chat says, talk new Pixels. There's like no news around Pixels. Google has actually done a really, really good job of not letting anything slip on those. So we honestly know nothing other than those first renders that showed up and things like that, and the people recreated renders, and we kind of know what they look like. That's about all we know, which I kind of like. Not gonna lie, I would love to talk about the Pixel 3 every day. It's good for traffic on the site, but at the same time, part of me kind of wants to be. We haven't been surprised about a phone in I don't even know how long. It would be cool if we got all the way to Google's event and we had not seen really a real picture or something of the Pixel 3. That's not going to happen. I'm sure we'll see plenty, but actually last year was close, and then we revealed all of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Whoops, we're sorry. He was asking about the notch. Nothing is confirmed, but I mean, it's like 99. We're 99% certain that the notch will be on the larger Pixel 3 XL. Yeah. No notch on the smaller guy.
Yeah. Pretty sure of that.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Speaking of other phones, I did review the Moto Z3 Play. Was that last week? I don't think we. Yep. I think it was last week. It must have been last week, or was it this week?
I It must have been
I'm looking at the date, July 6th.
It was like Tuesday?
That was a week ago. It was right after 4th of July.
Oh, right.
Anyways, I think I've talked about this quite a bit in a previous show, but Z3 Play, I like it. It was totally fine. Nice little mid-ranger. It's $500, which I know a lot of people think is overpriced, especially when you compare it then to the OnePlus 6. However, if you buy the Amazon Prime version, it's $450. So it starts separating itself from OnePlus then in terms of price. So at and honestly, like if you want the Moto Z3 Play, buy the Amazon Prime version. All that means is Amazon pre-installs some Amazon app bloatware, half of which you'll probably install anyway. Like I have Amazon Prime on my phones. I have the Amazon Shopping app. Like there's like 2 or 3 Amazon apps I just have on phones anyway. So those will come pre-installed. Anyways, it saves you $50. So the phone in general, solid, good battery life. The camera's pretty average, which is to be expected for a mid-range phone. Performance was pretty good. The display's totally fine. It's an AMOLED. It has Moto Mod access if you care about things like that. I don't, but it is there. It comes with a battery pack Moto Mod, which is kind of cool. The design's the best yet and has more display and less bezel than any previous Moto Z phone. I actually did enjoy using the phone. It's like a mid-range. It's like exactly what you expect from sort of that mid-range-ish. 450, I know it's tough for some people to swallow, so I totally get it. But look, if you want Moto and Moto mods and you like that styling and all of that stuff at 450, like I'm trying to think of a phone that compares to it at 450. I mean, maybe you get a cheap Galaxy S8 for that price, but that's like a year-old phone. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're on Verizon, it works. OnePlus 6 doesn't. So anyway, Z3 Play, the review's up at the site. If you guys want to know more, feel free to read that thing. But for the most part, totally fine phone. I'm not going to like run out and recommend the hell out of it like I would the OnePlus 6, but it was totally fine. Like if you were thinking about getting it, sure, I think you'll like it. Fair enough. Let's see. T-Mobile announced a while ago that they were going to bring RCS Universal Profile to their airwaves. And what that means is RCS, the sort of advanced messaging solution that should take over the industry and be kind of this general accepted platform that everyone sends messages over. Universal Profile is the version that everyone will adopt. T-Mobile said we're adopting it by the end of Q2, and they pushed out an update, I think, on the last day of the second to last day of Q2 that will enable RCS Universal Profile on the Galaxy S7, the Galaxy S7 Edge, to 2-year-old phones that I'm not sure that many people probably even have anymore. I mean, they might. Yeah, they might. So Universal Profile is a big deal because it lets you do advanced messaging across carriers. So if another carrier, and all carriers have committed to switching to this at some point. Sprint is currently the only other one. Like even Google's Project Fi doesn't do RCS Universal Profile, which is kind of embarrassing because Google's the one kind of pushing this whole thing. But if you're on Sprint, there's a good chance your phone probably supports it already. And then T-Mobile is coming along, except only on the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. And they said more devices are coming, but it's like, why did you start there? Why didn't you start with like the Galaxy S8 or something?
Yeah, why not move backwards?
Yeah, why did they go to a phone from 2 years ago? I just don't understand that. And they won't talk about like what the other phones are when they're updating them. They said like later this year. That could be in like November as they tested on these two phones. If you own a Pixel or Pixel 2 and you're on T-Mobile, T-Mobile has essentially said like that's a Google problem why it's not supported, which I just don't know that I believe that. Like, what do you mean? Like Google's phones for text messaging use Android messages, which works with RCS already. Like it's already built to work with it. It seems like T-Mobile would just have to like flip a switch to approve the phone. I don't know if they're asking Google to do some special. I'm not really sure. It's confusing and no one will really want to talk about it, but
it's quite peculiar.
Yeah. It's a bit frustrating. And of course, Verizon and AT&T have said they're a part of it, but they haven't given any sort of indication when that will actually happen. So Wade County in the chat says, so to get RCS, you need a software update. That's what T-Mobile's telling us. So that's why it's all kind of confusing. T-Mobile is saying you need a software update to enable this on phones. they're not being that straightforward with it, I don't think, right? And like some people said when it went live, they were like, well, why does my Pixel not work? And one of their people responded that said, like, ask Google. And it's like, well, wait a minute, it's your network. Google's phones are already ready for it. So I have no idea. It's kind of confusing. And I wish people would be a little more straightforward with why it is or isn't working. Yeah, see, Corbin says, but you never needed that with Sprint. Like, Sprint just added it to their network, and I think if your phone was capable, it just worked. I'm not really sure. And Ben in the chat says, what about unlocked phones? That's what we're saying. Like, Pixels are unlocked and on there, and T-Mobile tried to say, like, no, it's not our problem. Ask Google why it doesn't work. In fact, I'm going to try to pull it up right now so that I get that correct. So when they announced it, yeah, someone responded, any idea when Pixel devices will be supported? And one of their reps responded with, that's a great question for Google. And somebody said, Google decides when RCS works on Pixel phones with T-Mobile, but a 2-year-old Galaxy S7 is the first to get it. And they said it depends on a lot of things. How many devices are on the network? Is there a software built in the works that the feature can be rolled into and more? I don't get it.
Yeah.
They said we've connected with Google and will interconnect our solutions as soon as Google is ready.
Oh, okay.
They really are.
They're pushing the whole it's Google's fault.
They really are blaming Google. I just don't understand that. If it's live on your network, I would think it'd be ready, but who knows? Anyways. As Wade in the chat says, sigh, RCS will never be a thing. I mean, it kind of feels that way. If we're having to wait for each manufacturer to do an update and a carrier to get an update ready and do that, like, it just feels like it's going to be 5 years before any of this happens.
It's already been 5 years, I feel like, and we're still here. So this is
yes. Yeah, we've been talking about RCS for at least 2 years now, maybe 3. So, yeah. All right, so we mentioned this earlier, but Amazon Prime Day is on Monday, July 16th. Amazon Prime Day is basically a Black Friday sort of thing in July every year. Is this the third one, fourth one? I can't remember how many we're at now. So Prime Day, again, it's Amazon just discounts a whole bunch of stuff, and they run deals all day, and you can get discounts on stuff. It should be a good day. Like, if you've been waiting to just buy a bunch of crap, it's going to be a great day to do that. Essential already said they're planning something, and not that I at this point would tell everyone to run out and buy an Essential phone. Like that Black Friday deal they did, wasn't it like $400 for the Essential phone, and you got like the 360 camera? It was nuts. Like, they may do something like that again. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if they did like the same deal, or maybe they'll throw in headphones because no one wants a 360 camera. But what are we expecting? Like, what do we see? Like, Nvidia Shield's gonna be dropped to like $140 or something like that. That's like $60 off.
Yeah, $40 off. It should actually be a pretty good day for deals. I've actually got a solid little list going on here I can pull up for y'all.
Yeah, name some of the like good stuff that we already know. Like Huawei, some of Huawei, like the Mate 10, right? Mate 10 Pro or something's like $400 off or something crazy.
No, I don't think so.
Damn it. Or maybe it's only $400. Which
maybe. Like, I know that the Honor View 10 will be $100 off at $399. The Honor 7X will be $30 off. Yeah, Shield TV with remote and controller will be $20 off, and then as a lightning deal, the Shield TV with remote will be $40 off. There's going to be discounts. We don't have exact pricing yet for a few of these, but there's going to be deals on the Google Wi-Fi 3-pack, EVGA GeForce 1080 graphics card, FTW, by the way, Blink XT home security system, a Jibo social robot, a Mint Mobile starter kit is going to be free after a $5 coupon. Mint Mobile, they're just, you know, kind of like a prepaid mobile service, but hey, a free starter kit, not bad, which is just a SIM kit. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. Obviously, if you don't already know, Echo Show's already $100 off. You can get a 2-pack of cloud cams for $199.
And all the other Amazon stuff will probably get big discounts on that day.
Exactly. 25% off refurbished Fire HD tablets. $10 when you spend $10 at Whole Foods. Pretty much every kind of Amazon service or device will be on sale. But then, so we're going to have, starting like kind of probably late Sunday, early Monday, we're going to be updating this post that'll go live here later with just tons of stuff. So if if your credit card is ready and not already maxed out, then I say spend. That's
and it's like 36 hours or something this year. I think it's like a day and a half.
A day and a half of just pure money mayhem.
Yeah, so don't buy anything today. The deals are coming. They're coming.
Don't buy a shoe today.
Yeah, don't buy a shoe.
If you already
today.
bought one, sorry, but don't buy one today.
All right. Final topic. I just wanted to note that almost all streaming TV services at this point are going up. They are seeing price increases. So YouTube TV was one of the first. It was at $35 a couple months ago. It went up to 40. At least they added a bunch of channels when they did that. Like I think that was when they added all the Turner networks. So it went from 35 to 40. DirecTV Now increased price by $5, I think. PlayStation Vue increased by $5. Sling TV, I think it was at least $5. Might have been 10. No, $5. So almost every single one of them. I mean, they're all saying the same thing, like the costs are increasing and stuff like that. The only thing I worry about is if all these streaming services, the only thing we don't know about is Hulu's live TV service. I have no idea how much that costs or if it's gone up. But DirecTV Now, PlayStation Vue, Sling TV, YouTube TV, all price increases. At what point do you go, maybe I should just go back to cable? That's the only thing I wonder. Like, I doubt like Comcast is going to really start dropping prices, especially if they're seeing these streaming services go up in price. But, you know, I guess it would have to be like $60 for me to consider going back to cable, right? I mean, like I'm locked into YouTube at $35. Like, I just don't really feel like you can beat that. But like, what if all of a sudden YouTube TV in like a year and a half is $55 or something?
Dude, it's going to take me so much to get off of YouTube
Yeah,
TV
me
or any
too.
type of streaming service. Like, I would gladly, like, don't get any ideas, Google, but I would pay $60 for YouTube TV just because I don't want to deal with Comcast, right? I
That's
still think
true,
the
too.
value is good. However, I want to be given something in return for that higher price, right? And so YouTube TV, when they rose the price, yeah, like you said, those Turner channels were brought on, MLB Network, NBA TV. So those things were worth it. You know, the $5 increase, no big deal. Now, when we get the HGTV, the Discovery Channel networks, and all that stuff, all those channels,
is going up.
that's fine though, because then my girlfriend will shut up. She'll have her HGTV. I'll shut up because I have my HGTV. Love that stuff. I want some TLC. There's a lot of stuff like I want that's still not on there, but I think can come. But if it does come, I'm willing to pay more. Like I'm totally willing to pay. I won't because I'm locked in at 35. But I'm glad other people can pay more. I think other people should pay more. That's what I'm saying.
Subsidize your TV, your TV use.
I hope you all pay more so I can get the channels I want. Thank you.
So people in chat are just mentioning like I ditched it, went back to cable or satellite because of bundles. I think you're going to see more of that as more people cut the cord and go streaming. So a lot of these cable companies are going to have to do cheaper and cheaper bundles. I just hope they don't lock everyone in and screw them with giant price hikes after a year like they used to do all the time. Yeah, see, Food Network needs to happen, HGTV, Travel Channel. If those three happen, I'd be really satisfied with. I mean, I'm satisfied with YouTube TV, but that would really make it just the greatest thing ever.
I still need the Viacom network too. Like I don't have MTV, and I think what they have.
Yeah, I don't watch that
Comedy
crap.
Central as well. I mean, I would at least want Comedy Central.
Yeah, that's true.
Because maybe there's like a replay of the Bieber roast or Charlie Sheen roast or something. Like I want to watch that crap.
All right. So anyway, if you own or you subscribe to one of those and you got a price increase and you're now starting to look around, just know that they all got a price increase basically in the last like 2 months. Particularly in the last like week or two, DirecTV Now, PlayStation Vue, and Sling TV all went up in price. YouTube TV was a little bit ago, right around the time of the NBA playoffs, I think.
Yep.
So
exactly that.
All right. Trivia.
Oh, is it time for the trivia?
I think it's trivia time. Yeah. Trivia
my lighting? Change it up. There we go.
There it is.
It's a little bright. Let's put it down.
Yeah, so it's trivia time. 5 questions as always, and 5 different winners. You can only win 1 question. Feel free to answer all questions, but only one person one winner 5 winners. So whatever, you can only win once, and we'll give 5 different people a prize. We're giving away $10 in Google Play credit to everyone who wins this week. And that's pretty much it. If you are new to the live show and you're playing trivia, how it works is we put a question up on the screen and we say it out loud as well. And you just answer away as fast as you can. Just tap, 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 tap on that keyboard. And the first person to answer with the correct answer wins. And that's pretty much it. And then after the show, you email us and we'll figure out how to get your prize and all of that stuff. I think that's about it, right?
I've got a lot of fun buttons to play with today.
Tim's got all the buttons now. So if you need to drop down to the audio only feed, if you need to refresh, go to that 240, that 144p, whatever you need to get to. So you have the cleanest, fastest stream. Feel free to do that now. We'll give you about 20 more seconds and then we're going to fire this off. No sponsor this week. Just straight up Google Play credit.
Straight up.
If you want to sponsor the show and hand out prizes during trivia, just shout us out.
Yep.
Shout us out.
You got our email. You know who you are.
We got some 144p's in the chat already. That 144p gang.
44p gang.
Yeah. All right.
You let me know when you're ready, and I'll start spitting out.
I am ready.
All right, well, let's kick it off with question number 1.
Question number 1 is up now.
Who served as CEO of Motorola's mobile business from 2008 to 2012?
Oh, my boy.
This is our dude. Who served as CEO of Motorola's mobile business from 2008 to 2012? Oh, we do have a correct answer from Hasnain Reza.
Hasnain Reza.
All right, Sanjay Jha, our dude.
Jha. Eric was in there with the Woodside, and George right behind him with Osterloh. They were after our boy Sanjay Jha.
Womp womp.
Sanjay was in charge when they did like the Bionic. He was basically the end days for him were basically the Bionic and like the flippy keyboard thing that they did. Yeah, but he was there for the Droid X and 2 and the original Droid, I believe he was there, and the Droid 2 and all. That was all him, and it didn't go well. It started off okay with the original Droid, and then it just kind of went downhill, and their ideas just kind of fizzled with Sanjay at the helm. What was his compensation when he left? It was something stupid. It was like 100 million or something.
Something million.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look now.
The dude was fine. Like, he did not care if something paid off, for that dude got paid.
It was something wild. Oh boy, 65 million, I think. I mean, I don't want to say he had run Motorola into the ground, but it was not good. But I think he did negotiate when they sold to Google, didn't he? Wasn't he there? And then he stepped away. He got a lot of money.
No, it would have been
65 million. Yeah, no, it was Woodside came on after. So at least this article in the Daily Mail says the CEO of Motorola is in line for a 65 million bonus following the company's merger with Google. So yeah, he sold to Google, cashed out for 65 mil, and took off. All right, Hasnain Reza with the win there.
Yeah, Hasnain Reza, we got you. Wade was asking what Sanjay is up to now. He was the CEO of another company, but then he just stepped away in March, I believe.
Huh.
So I think he's just hanging out. He's looking for work. If you want to hire him for like a couple.
He's looking for work. Dude's got like 80 mil in the bank at this point, probably.
When you're that rich, you keep working, man. You never stop the grind.
It's true. It's true.
Like, this is the game of life. You can't press pause. You just keep grinding. All right, let's go with question number 2, please.
Question number 2 up now.
In what year did Android Wear, now called Wear OS, first launch? In what year did Android Wear, now called Wear OS, first launch?
Hasnain, you can't win again.
Eli. Kuznikov?
Eli. Yeah, I got Eli. Eli as well.
Perfect, with the correct answer of 2014.
2014. Was that that was the Gear Live and
Watch R or whatever. Watch Round.
I think just the G Watch.
Oh, G Watch, you're right.
G Watch and the Gear Live. 2014.
And then followed by the Moto 360.
And yeah, Hasnain, you had that right, but you can't win twice.
Sorry, buddy. He's on the good internet.
Eli got that though.
Yep. Congratulations. Let's go off with question number 3.
Question number 3 up now. now.
What is the name for HTC's upcoming blockchain-powered smartphone?
Oh god, this is just silly.
Again,
Oh man,
what's the
Eric
name
was
for-
quick with that.
Oh,
Eric's
goodness.
definitely on that audio only.
He's on that good. Crazy. Eric Ortiz with the correct answer of Exodus by like 5 minutes before everyone else.
Seriously.
Congratulations,
What
Eric.
the hell? How did you get that so fast? Eric with the
That's me.
Exodus.
He's like,
That was
HTC
crazy fast.
Blockchain? I know the answer to that.
That was
Just
wild.
mind.
That's just not fair.
That was intense. Congratulations, Eric.
Good job, Eric.
Got your name down so we don't forget you. All right. Or HTC. They think blockchain's going
It's been a rough couple of news cycles for HTC. The laid off a bunch of people. I don't know if this has all happened since we had the last show or not. Laid off a bunch of people. Then they announced that they had their worst quarter in how many years? It's been like years. Like just dropped percentage in terms of phone sales. Like it's been ugly. Although they did announce today that an update is coming to the U12 Plus that could fix the old buttons. We'll see.
Look at that when I see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll see.
Dang, congratulations, Eric. All right, well, let's go. That was question number 3. Let's go with question number 4, please.
Question number 4 up now.
What company produces Clear ID, the in-display fingerprint technology we demoed during CES 2018? Again, what company produces Clear ID, the in-display fingerprint technology we demoed during CES 2018?
I got to give that one to Jason, I think.
Jason Green, for
Jason
sure.
Green. So yeah, the correct answer is Synaptics.
Yes.
We saw some semantics.
Exactly.
Saw some good ones. I mean, you guys are close, but Jason Green with the win there. Synaptics. They were, they've kind of pioneered the, which is weird because Qualcomm has supposedly made their own in-display fingerprint tech, but I don't know if anyone's actually ever seen it in the real world. Whereas Synaptics is actually pushing these out to a bunch of Vivo phones. Somebody answered Vivo as well. So Vivo is one of the few that demoed, well, the Vivo phones that we demoed on actually initially, but yeah, Synaptics.
Synaptics. Good. I'm glad that was a hard one for some people.
That was a tricky one. Not surprisingly tricky.
Oh, surprising. Okay. I like surprisingly tricky. Jason Green, congratulations. All right, let's finish it off with question number 5.
Question number 5 up now.
What processor powered the 2011 Droid X2?
Oh man.
Again, what processor powered the 2011 Droid X2? This is the toughie. I will not be ashamed if people have to Google this. I mean, I know the answer without having. But what processor powered? Ooh, I see something pretty close. I'm not gonna take it though.
Nope, not taking that. Oh,
Wade
there we
County.
go.
I see Wade County with the correct answer of Tegra 2. Can you confirm?
Correct.
Oh.
Wade County with the Tegra 2. Tegra 2.
Adam, you were extremely clear. You were like right, just a second behind him.
Yeah.
Wade County.
But Wade snuck that in. Yeah, Tegra 2. So the Droid X2 is one of the, I don't want to say one of the dumbest phones ever released, but the Droid X was so different, right? Remember the Droid had the hump and it had this new design, and that was the phone that Steve Jobs called a Hummer, I think. And then the Droid X2, like they didn't change anything except they put a Tegra 2 in it. Like the design just didn't change. The display didn't change. I don't even know if they changed the camera. Like it was the same phone. They just put a Tegra 2 in it basically. Like it didn't have LTE. It was pre-LTE, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Tegra exclusive games. Remember that when there was Tegra games? That's right.
Oh yeah. I liked it. It was good
times. It was good times then. But you had to have a Tegra phone. I mean, yeah. That was when NVIDIA was on the rise. The Tegra 2 was pretty much the end for them too, right? There wasn't a Tegra 3, was there? Was there a Tegra 3?
There was a Tegra 3 and a Tegra X.
Yeah, but was the Tegra 3 about when they died? Because their problem was they didn't have LTE, and Qualcomm's like, we got that LTE.
That's true. They purchased for like a ton of money some company that was making LTE radios, and they were going to like implement them, sideload them on the hardware, but it just did not work out.
It didn't happen. They weren't quick enough with it yet.
Qualcomm beat
I can't remember if the Tegra 3 was actually in phones or not. I feel like it was. Or the Tegra 3, was it just in...
The Tegra 2 was in phones. The Tegra 3 was in tablets.
That's right. It was in tab, and it was in the Ouya. The Ouya.
Oh yeah.
The Ouya. That like terrible gaming scam of a box thing.
Yeah. I saw some clickbaity video on YouTube saying, I just bought an Ouya. Like, here's how it is in 2018. It's probably not very good.
Nexus 9. Did the Nexus 9 have a Tegra 3? Is that what was in that thing?
I think so.
Yeah. So Tegra 3 was there a little bit, but that was around the time when LTE was coming out and they just didn't have it. So they fell off.
They tried.
But we still got some good NVIDIA powered Android stuff like Shield and their tablets were good, but we looked at tablets this year. It's been 2015 was when the tablet K1 came out. It was 3 years ago since we've had a tablet. Tablets are dead. Tablets are dead. All right, well that's trivia. So our 5 winners. Do you want them to email you?
Please email Kellen. They can email me. What would you like?
Sure, let's have them email you. Tim is going to drop his email in the chat right now. And if you were one of those winners, Hosnane, Eli, Eric, Jason, Wade, email Tim. And we will we'll work out how to get you your prize. So you 5.
Some sweet Google Play credit.
Sean asks, what do you think about Google getting into the gaming biz, buying companies and devs? So the rumor is that Google is going to create a service similar probably to NVIDIA's GeForce Now, where it's like streaming from the cloud kind of gaming or something like that. NVIDIA is huge in gaming, and I don't know how successful GeForce Now is. Maybe it has been really successful. I'm not really sure. If Google launches something similar, I just kind of go, all right, if NVIDIA hasn't been killing it with this idea, how is Google? Like, Google does everything half-assed typically. So if like a gaming company is trying, and I don't know how successful it is, I don't know that Google's going to be able to do it, but who knows? Google's got lots of money. Maybe they'll throw everything at it and they'll create something awesome. But all you have to do is kind of look at like YouTube Music and how much of a disaster of a launch that has been. And so I just don't know that I believe Google will like change gaming, or I don't know.
I mean, like you said, I think the idea is extremely clever. I mean, back when GeForce Now was first announced, right? So like, but pricing is so crucial with something like this. And the thing is that it's a very expensive system or service for them to run. So when you're talking about that much computing power in the cloud for say thousands of people just to stream, it costs quite a bit. So they have to find the right kind of middle area where they can charge money and still make a profit, but have people be enticed enough by the price to want to sign up. Right now it's in beta, so you can download it right now on your PC or Mac. In beta, you have to wait in line, but I mean, the thing is that with say GeForce Now, I can play Fortnite on an Android TV device without it being available on Android. So and I'm basically playing it on the power of a supercomputer in the cloud. So it's the most genius thing ever, except I'm very curious about how much it's going to cost. I'm assuming like what, 15, 20 bucks a month when it launches.
That's the thing, yeah. You want to pay that?
Well, some people don't have access to like a really powerful PC like that. Like for me, like we use Macs, and I'm not going to just drop 1,000 plus on a gaming computer if I don't need to. If I could just pay a few bucks a month and have all the games, right? It's any Steam game or anything they've got. They're adding more all the time. Right now it's a library of 200 and plus games, I believe. But as long as it's got the big titles, it's got Rainbow Six, it's got Fortnite, it's going to have the new Lara Croft, it's going to have whatever. Then maybe it'll be worth it for some people, right? Instead of investing that money into an actual rig and the physical games or the digital copies you have to buy. I mean, there's pros and cons, I think, to each way you go.
For sure.
But, yeah.
So back to the Google thing. I don't know how Google's going to be able to compete with that and get started and make it worthwhile and all that stuff. But maybe they'll surprise us. I have no idea. I think they need to figure out some hardware to come with it. And so far, we don't know of really Google hardware that's on the horizon. So
if they would give us like a legit Pixel player or like a Pixel camera, whatever, and
like high end, like Shield TV,
it's got to be high end. Exactly. Yeah. Shield TV quality, but just like pure Android TV. If they wanted to do that, I'd be totally down. They better launch with Fortnite though, because if they don't have Fortnite, then they ain't got my money. Period.
And NVIDIA has it.
Exactly. NVIDIA's got my money.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It is so hot out here. Please stay cool. If you know anyone who lives alone, please check in on them. Make sure that they are staying cool this summer. It's ridiculous out there. If you see a dog trapped into a car, don't call the cops. Call me. I'm going to bash in the window, and then I'm going to bash whoever left a dog locked in a hot car.
Seriously.
So, yeah, just take care of everyone. Treat everyone with respect, and we love you all.
Also, thanks again for hanging around. We had like 50 minutes of technical difficulties. We will we'll try to iron those out a little bit earlier next time. Anyways, yeah, it still worked out.
Sorry.
It worked out, but sorry. Yeah.
Again, winners, email me. I'm putting again my my email in the chat. So
email Tim. We'll get you Google Play credit. And the quicker you do it, the quicker you get it. So.
All right.
Thanks for joining us once again. Droid Life Show episode 178. Peace.